Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Nelson. I think I've probably met most of you by now, but I just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself and thank you all for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit tonight about Camp Mattatuck and the programs that we had run over this past summer and what's coming up in the near future. So first and foremost, I wanted to take you through what happened since the last time we talked. So in pre-camp mode, some of the things that we did before camp even started. I think it's important to recognize that we had numerous members of our camp staff participate in what's called National Camping School, which is held at Drew Northcross Webster. Our council is pretty privileged in the fact that not only are we able to host a camp school at Webster again, but numerous members of our camping department and our outdoor program department are able to participate and to teach at that camp school. And I think it says a lot when you look at it that Connecticut Rivers Council had staff members teaching people from around the country, not only in program, management, cope and climbing, and outdoor skills. So in those particular areas, the experts in the field that were chosen by the national office to come and teach others were members of our Connecticut Rivers Council staff. And I think it's really important that we take a note that our staff is recognized across the nation as people that are really, really good at what they do and experts in the field of camping. Another thing we did before camp even started is in cooperation with Pat Boyd, we worked on a grant from the Connecticut State Department of Education, which we were able to secure that grant in the beginning of June, which gave us the opportunity to offer free Cub Scout day camp to about 400 Cub Scouts that attended over the course of the summer, and then also allowed us to continue our STEM camp program, which runs at Camp Mattatuck. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get through the presentation. But the Cub Scout day camp portion of that was huge, as our goal was to help bolster not only Cub Scout camping, but the Cub Scout program in general. And as we all know, a continuation of our summer programs and keeping year-round programming going for Cub Scouts is a huge part of making sure that they stay in the program. Another thing that we worked on is that we, of course, tried to rebrand camp. So we've come up with some new logos, new signs, new designs all over camp, different banners promoting different areas of camp, different signage, which I think some of you saw as you came up over the summer for each of our department areas. And then our new logo that was put out through all over our social media, and then different aspects like our camp hats, patches, and other materials. And then after our first day of staff week, we welcomed Laurel Music Camp. Now, this was our first time having Laurel Music Camp come as a full stay overnight program. We did have them last year as a day camp program. This time it became a stay overnight program. So we had about 150 campers from Laurel Music Camp who came and stayed with us at Mattatuck. It was a great time. They've really become a great member of our community as well. Super supportive, as you can see there with Phil, who's their camp director, and Noah, our program director. We really bonded. Hope to embrace them. They've embraced us. I know that they've done a couple of service projects at camp. They just had their fall picnic there last week. So they've really found a home, hopefully, with Camp Mattatuck, and they're a great group of people that we want to make sure stay with us and have a good time here at camp. And then after that 150 people left, real camp, our camp, Scout Camp started. And as you can see, the kids came in, they had a lot of fun, and they knew what was going on and how to really get right back into it post-COVID. Reopening of the dining hall to full swing, which people were great and really appreciative to have family style meals back. And I don't know that guy in the sunglasses, some of you might recognize him, but he came out to camp a lot this summer and had a good time with us there. Some of the things that we added this year that I wanted to talk about was the Fix program. Although this was a behind the scenes program, Fix is a online cloud-based software, which some of you may know about, for basically camp maintenance and upkeep. It has a lot of options. We chose to use it specifically for camp maintenance and upkeep. So what would happen there is a scoutmaster, a scout, a staff member, myself, the ranger, anyone could put a fix request in. And then Pat Mallon, our ranger, or myself would then assign it to one of our commissioners, a ranger's assistant, a particular staff member, or one of us would take ownership of that. The person who assigned the project or put the request in would then get updates as it went through, and we'd know when that project got clear. So that was to really help us serve our customers better and make sure that we were completing the projects in a timely manner that were being asked of us. and it made it a lot more organized than just random scouts and scoutmasters yelling to the ranger or me as we went by or walked by, hey, this door is broken, hey, that latch is broken. So it really did streamline the process. Before camp started, or right as the day camp started, honestly, we finished both our blacksmithing and our swimming buildings. Now that changed our blacksmithing program completely. It moved it into a bigger area. It gave them their own space. They were able to utilize it. And you see a picture of that in the next page. And our swimming pavilion, one is allowing us to store our sailboats inside for the off season, which is great. And they'll last a lot longer because of that, but also provided a teaching area and a central hub for all of our waterfront activities as we moved forward. We redesigned a lot of our programs this year as we started off some new things. The first one that we redesigned was called Leadership Plus, which was basically how we took our COPE program and totally redesigned it and pushed it through to be more of a leadership development program. So not only did it culminate in the high ropes course and that type of activities that they did, and it did still incorporate most of those team building skills, but there was also a lot of leadership development and self-development that took place within that class as well. So we had a lot of our older scouts taking advantage of the Leadership Plus program. We also put all of our CITs through that program as we started to redesign our CIT program. So that then allowed us to pilot that for the first couple of weeks, but also to incorporate them into the leadership development programs that we're putting on for the scouts and have them develop as well so that they can be better staff members next year. Our Trailblazer program, which was our traditional provisional scouting program, took on a whole new face this year. So traditionally, Camp Mattituck has seen about 15 to 20 provisional scouts. This year, we almost broke 100 provisional scouts that were coming in, and scouts that were coming without their units, or scouts that were coming for multiple weeks. Some of the people pictured in that lower corner there actually stayed with us for the entire summer and spent all 5 weeks at camp as Trailblazers. So that was a really cool experience for them. And that's a new program that we're building. Our Tracks program was our first year camper program. So we really revamped both ends of the spectrum for our scouts this year. Our older boy programs got completely redone, and our first year camper program, otherwise known as Tracks, was redone as well. That starts off with a tour of camp by myself and Noah Cross, the program director. So those kids really know where they're going. They figure out where everything is. They can ask specific questions of the two of us. Plus they learn who we are, and they have no problem by the end of that tour just stopping and talking to us on the trail or asking questions when they need to. And then they can go to various program areas throughout the course of the week. And throughout that time, they can complete different activities. And then at the end of the week, they receive what's known as the Tracks Award, which is a sticker with the Camp Mattituck logo on it. And it looks like a paw print known as the Tracks Award. And we kept rolling lunch this year. So as you remember, possibly going into COVID, we changed all of our lunches to be grab and go and had it spaced out over a significant amount of time so that the dining hall wasn't crowded. As I said before, we kept family style breakfast and dinner this year, but we went with a rolling lunch, which ran from 11:30 to 1. It allowed for more program opportunities, more merit badge opportunities, and then allowed scouts to be able to take advantage of those. And I think it was very well received, and we were able to keep that moving pretty quickly. Some of the other programs that we added this year that were super exciting is we added our RC boat program. We did get a new blob this year as ours broke towards the end of last year. It had gone 3 years past what the company says is a blob's lifespan. So I think we've done pretty good by it. And we did order and replace our new blob this year. We had a new group come to join us at camp this year. It was Camp Felix, which is a group that really strives for inclusion and welcomeness and making sure that everyone feels welcome and loved in different areas that they come from. And this group came out of actually New York City, and none of these kids had ever camped before. So they joined us for our 3rd week of camp and were able to come and kind of embrace camp in their own way. They did filter right into the programs that we were already running and kind of acted as their own unit, but also had some of their own activities that they did. And like I said before, we still had our STEM camp running. That STEM camp is a partnership we have with 2 school districts that sent about 100 non-scouts to camp. And with the hopes that we can teach them and help them to see what a great program we have, and that maybe hopefully some of them will join the scouting program. I know that at least from my own experience, 2 or 3 of them have already joined that have come out of Naugatuck. So that's a plus in that regard. And then we also added a bunch of adult leader programs this year. One of the things that we thought we were lacking is that we service our scouts really well, no matter what age they are. But maybe we got to find some more things for our adults to do. So as you can see there, we had the adult flotilla, which occurred after the aquatics training courses that we ran. So we offered a bunch of different adult training courses this year. And at the culmination of the adult training course, the Scoutmasters go out in their various tubes and float around the lake for the Scoutmaster flotilla. We also have a program called Morning Joe, where we bring in different guest speakers, and they work with one of our commissioners, Joe Gannon, and talk about different aspects of the scouting program. So I know Lee Hoffman came in and talked about membership, recruitment, and how to get more scouts in scouting. Kevin came in a couple times and talked about various different things on the national and council level. And then we also had Alex Cantor come in and talk about council programming and the Western District when he was our Western District DE for a little while. Then with Sean's help, I do have to say that during our fifth week of camp, we were able to really add a whole bunch of new programs and pilot some stuff that's going to come out for next year. But you can see two of those programs highlighted on this slide. We had our Cub Scout program, two of these. One of them was our Cub Scout splatter paint room, which worked out really well. And I think it's going to become a Scouts BSA as well as Cub Scouting activity. But we piloted that program this year, and we piloted our Lego room, which was hugely popular. And a lot of the packs that I'm still talking to now have really started to continue to talk about that. And we're really excited to have that happening. So we're hoping that that continues for next year. And we added 5 additional program areas around our lake for our day camp, as well as our Scouts BSA campers to use. So as we move through this winter, we'll be sprucing those up, although we did pilot them this summer, and I've gotten nothing but great feedback from those scouts that attended the 5th week of our day camp program. So look forward to explaining those to you at a later date as to what we had done and what we're doing there. Then post camp happened. So after our 5th week of camp, still more fun occurred at Mattituck. So since then, we've had the Royal Family Kids Camp, which is a foster kids camp run by this a group for the state of Connecticut, and they came in right after we finished with our scout camping experience, and they stay for an entire week. And they provide all different types of programs for foster kids and really try to give them experiences that they wouldn't have had they not have been able to get into this program or have come to camp. Shortly after they left, we also ran a camp for the Hartford stake of the LDS Church. We ran both a boys and girls camp for them. It's 3 days of boys camp, 3 days of girls camp. They run a little bit differently, but very similar to Scout Camp. We provide staffing, food, and other materials for them for that. So it is a fully staffed event from our perspective. So although we ran 5 weeks of actual Scout camping, you heard me make a mistake before when I said 7 weeks. Really, we run 8 weeks of youth in camp using it and making sure that it's a successful program for everyone. And then we also have had Big Joe's Jog occur. Big Joe's Jog is a annual event that we run on Labor Day weekend. That event is built to basically make whatever profits made from that event goes towards the Thomas J. Horan Scholarship. Both Big Joe, who was Joe Leclerc from Troop 52 in Oakville, and Tom Horan, who was a past camp director at Camp Mattituck, really gave a lot to camp. And these two events try to give back, as Big Joe's Jog directly funds the Tom Horan Scholarship, which we give to 4 staff members concurrently, so that hopefully we can help fund their college and they'll come back to continue to work for us, because it makes it a little easier. Because as we know, we don't necessarily have the highest pay scale out there for summer employment, but we do it more because of what we got out of it, and we try to give it back to other people. And then we've had 2 successful work days. And as you can see there from Vinny and Noah's smile on their faces, although it was a lot of work, we did have a lot of fun doing it, had some great conversation, and did a lot of planning as we were there putting camp away. Fall camp was a great success this year, and a lot of kids come out and participate. We had a lot of staff out there doing things. We try to do that earlier because it's the last time where maybe we can do some swimming and boating out there. Those weren't actually the merit badges that were most sought after this year. So we're looking at rethinking how we do that for next year, but it's there. It was a great time, and it's a good last kind of hurrah for some of the staff as they come back a few weeks after we leave and get to help put camp away a little more and also participate in some program and activities out there. And then what's coming next? Coming soon to camp. Right now, Ranger Pat and the members of the Hollow Harvest team are setting the Hollowed Harvest up, which is an event that where we rent the property out to a group who puts on an outdoor jack-o'-lantern display that people can buy tickets and come through and take a look at that. It is not necessarily run by us or the council, but it is an outside vendor that we rent to, but we encourage people to go out and check it out. Then after that, we have the Camp Mattituck Gala. The Camp Mattituck Gala funds the Mattituck volunteers, basically the war chest for putting things together at camp. And I know that we've had talks before at the executive board meetings as to what's funded by our volunteer groups and what's funded by the council. I think our volunteer groups have done a great job in partnering with our councils to make our council to make sure that we are all doing great things and making sure to support camp as much as possible and in a very positive way. And then we have our winter camp experience, which is more details to that coming out soon, but that's running December 27th through the 29th. That is an in-person and virtual event, and we're going to run it as both a day camp and an overnight experience. So hopefully you guys can come out, check that out, or encourage troops that you may know or troops that you're involved in to check it out and come on out to camp in the winter, get a different feel for what camp's like than in the summer camp experience, but as always, participate in some great program. I just want to take the final part to say thank you to the executive board, to Stephen, to Sean, and to the members of our council management team. It really is a privilege to run one of our camps throughout the summer. We have a great team, and I'm really excited to be part of it. And I thank you for that opportunity, not only to talk to you tonight, but for the opportunity to work at and help create a great experience for Scouts in the Connecticut Rivers Council. So thank you all and have a great night.